What is up, everyone? Welcome to the HMR podcast, a Marvelous Retrospective. We are ranking and reviewing every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today, I'm your host, Near Miller, and today I'm joined by Ben, my brother from another mother.
Hi.
Tyler, the artistic anomaly. Tyler, the artistic anomaly.
Hello, gamer. Sorry, my mic was muted. Hello.
And the Hispanic heartthrob himself, Lewis. Welcome back, bro.
Hello. I just like how Tyler opened up with "Hello, gamers."
Yeah.
I do that every time.
Yeah.
It gets me. It gets me.
No, but welcome back, Lewis. You're just in time for Thor. Released May 2nd, 2011. So around like 6 months or so since Iron Man 2, if I remember correctly. And a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes, which I could have sworn it was a lie, because this movie feels really long. Are we in agreement this movie feels really long?
Yeah.
It felt like sometimes I had to like pause it just to see how much time was left because it felt so long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I never actually even paused like the Incredible Hulk unless I had to use the bathroom. I just kind of kept watching it, and that movie just kept going on forever.
Which it's interesting because this movie was directed by Kenneth Branagh, whose key directorial roles included a lot of movies based on Shakespeare. So he's a theater nerd. Including he directed and starred in the Hamlet movie, which it's a really good adaptation.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
100%. He also directed Dunkirk, another really good movie. The 2015 Cinderella remake, not a good movie. And he also played Gilderoy Lockhart in the Harry Potter series. So a budget of $150 million US, or USD. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, $150 million. So around for like Iron Man and Iron Man 2, and Hulk I think had a similar budget too. So around it seems about right. So box office, a total of $449.3 million. So way better than Hulk. Not as good as like Iron Man and Iron Man 2. Making the 15th highest grossing film in 2011. So it did pretty well. It did pretty well. So it was the highest grossing comic book film from May to August in 2011, and it's the 10th highest grossing film of 2011 in the U.S. and Canada. So I have some fun facts for you. I still don't have a title for the segment, but I will come up with one eventually. So the final choice for the role of Thor came down to the brothers Chris Hemsworth and Liam Hemsworth. Chris found it funny. I thought of doing a bit where I try to imitate the accent, but I'm not going to do that. So we both came all the way over here from Australia and ended up battling against each other. He, however, bore no ill will towards Liam, claiming he was rooting for him to get the role. Tom Hiddleston prepared for the role by going on a strict diet and throughout filming so that Loki would have a lean but hungry visage. Sir Kenneth Branagh has been a fan of Thor since childhood. I don't know why I lagged, but yeah. When Marvel Studios selected him as the director, they sent him on the complete collection of the Marvel Thor comic series with reference material for the character. Tom Hiddleston found Loki's helmet very uncomfortable, as it was heavy to wear, and he couldn't see properly out of it, so he channeled this discomfort into Loki's battle scenes, which I find
Don't worry. Everybody else finds Tom Hiddleston's helmet very uncomfortable as well, and have a lot of trouble seeing Tom Hiddleston through the helmet.
Yeah. So to prepare for the role of Thor, Chris Hemsworth put on a massive amount of build and weight. Through a 6-month regimen of trips to the gym and indulging in a massive diet of eggs, chicken sandwiches, vegetables, brown rice, steak, and protein drinks. And I put this fun fact in here just to say, holy cow, that man is cut. High diggity damn. He looks really good. Well, his body looks really good in this.
We'll get to the rest of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the post-credit scene was directed by Joss Whedon to connect to the Avengers with this movie. And you can tell, because that scene itself is probably the best thing to come out of this movie. So the director was inspired to do the scene where Odin rips off Thor's chest plate from the life of Emil Zola, where a disgraced army officer was stripped of his rank. So as Thor is leaving the restaurant to go to the crater site, this is some Easter egg and stuff. Jane Foster follows him, and you can see a small water tower at the end of the street that says "Welcome home" of the Vikings. According to Kevin Feige, the Bifrost Bridge is this movie's most interesting set, and I agree. Especially since this movie does not have a lot of interesting sets, because it is set in New Mexico. And New Mexico is a really boring place. He says,
So mean to New Mexicans.
I hate New Mexico.
It's sand and brick.
It is. This movie is a lot of sand and brick. So he says, in the comics, it's literally a rainbow that extends out from Asgard and pops down on Earth. We're not necessarily doing that. We're not having the big, hard, solid lines of colors. We're saying it's some sort of energy, almost a solid quartz bridge that, as the light catches it and flows through it, you get some of that rainbow-esque quality to it. And I would say it's pretty, but it's pretty is the wrong word for it. So some of the comic stuff. This movie's portrayal of Thor combines the classic Marvel Comics character, where Thor is cast down to the earth as a punishment for his arrogance, with the ultimate, because like the Ultimate Comics, that version where Thor is dismissed by Earth as a crazy, deluded man. So you can say in Marvel the Infinity Gauntlet, an all-powerful weapon capable of controlling we know what the Infinity Gauntlet is, and was constructed for this movie. The model is made from bronze and copper and weighs 60 pounds. It was built to be operational so that animatronics could be built on it. Thor's armor is the amalgamation of the current Thor costume in mainstream Marvel continuity, so Ultimate's going on right now. It combines the Ultimate Universe with a lot of different inspiration. Like the Mighty Thor design, you can see that in there with the the whole. It's hard to explain. But yeah, the design of the cape, and you have the little circles on the chest plate. It combines a number of things.
Shoulders look really big in this movie.
It does look really, yeah, it does. That's a Mighty Thor.
It was actually distracting in some ways.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you. So the Norse runes on the Tablet of Life and Time read, "Those who sit above in shadow." These were a group of cosmic beings from the Thor comics who created the Asgardian race, and possibly the tablet itself. Though, as of even now, to date, we still do not know the tablet's origins. So I have some cameo stuff too. So J. Michael Straczynski, a writer who worked on Thor comics, appears as the first person to try to lift Mjolnir. Walter Simonson, a comic writer and artist whose work on Thor was highly renowned and acclaimed, has a cameo appearance in the banquet scene near the end of the movie, sitting between Sif and the other guy, the dude who's played by Ray Stevenson. I don't remember his name. In the original script, Loki revealed himself to be Laufey. He revealed himself to Laufey as his son. Laufey then admitted his abandonment of him. This was left out to make Loki more devious. I have a lot of Easter eggs, damn. So Thor, after learning about Loki's deception, states that he would have words with Loki, which is a famous line. It's an allusion to a famous line that Thor said when he confronted Ultron in the Revenge of Ultron. The Ultron Avengers story. He said, "Ultron, we would have words with thee." And I have more Easter eggs, but I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna read the Easter eggs.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that was the last Easter egg.
Okay.
I skipped some stuff. So yeah, so interesting stuff. The cameos are interesting. I live for this kind of stuff. I'm gonna start including cameos in the fun fact session because cameos are legitimately interesting. So yeah, Thor. What do we think about this movie?
Oh goodness. It's
Thor's
on film.
stupid.
It's
It has.
film. It's a movie.
I have really mixed opinions on the movie because, I don't know. When I was watching it, there's a lot of times where I'm like, this isn't really good. but there was some moments that had me kind of like, okay, I can see what they're trying. It's not awful, you know what I mean? It's not the worst
Exactly.
film ever.
There were a lot of. I think the biggest problem I have with it, is not to try and compare it to the future or movie. I'm not going to say movies because the second one doesn't count either. Is that it was adapting from source material that was heavily involved in the Marvel, like the cosmic
Yeah.
side of the Marvel universe, but that was not established well enough in the film,
So yeah,
which is one of the main reasons why I think Thor Ragnarok did so well compared to the other two, is that things made more sense.
well, also because it's a good movie, you know.
And that too.
Actually, you know what? I'm okay. So my opinion on Thor. Thor is not a bad movie. It's not bad. It's a fine movie. It's a fine. The main problem is that honestly, it's just not memorable, and I do agree with that. The whole Thor Thor story relies so heavily on the overall cosmic Marvel universe. And the fact that for this first Thor movie, they didn't have that at all. It's just Asgard. And I'm sorry, Asgard's just not very interesting.
Didn't really explore too much of Asgard either. It was just like Odin's castle or Earth
The bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and the bridge.
Odin Castle, bridge,
Yeah,
and
no, it's,
Earth.
the
Yeah.
thing is, like, Asgard's not interesting, and then where we are on Earth is not interesting. Sure, the shield stuff, like, is interesting. Hawkeye is introduced here, which I completely forgot. So yeah, he's introduced
Yeah,
here.
for like two,
Yeah.
3 minutes of the film.
It's cool and all, but like a lot of the sets in this movie are just really bland and boring. Also, this movie is ugly. This is an ugly movie. The way this movie is shot is just not appealing at all.
This is when it's good to bring up most distracting thing. Every time there was a close-up shot of Chris Hemsworth as Thor, no matter if like it was a tragic scene and I was supposed to feel sad or something, I just laughed. I laughed every single time because I still don't know why they decided to bleach his eyebrows.
Yeah, no, he looks
Too.
unselling in this movie. He does not look good in this movie. It's the hair too. The hair looks so atrocious. It's so bad.
It's like he blends in with the walls of Asgard.
Yeah,
Like it's
100%.
so golden and unrealistic.
Yeah, he looks so weird in this movie. It's legitimately distracting. Like jeez, no future spoilers, but yeah, holy cow, he looks so awesome. The camera angles in this movie are also really bad too. We get a lot of Dutch angles, and it's like Dutch angles by themselves. While I'm not too big of a fan of, like, they're not. I don't say that they're inherently ugly, but when there's a lot of Dutch angles in this movie, like, where in a span of like maybe 10 minutes we get like 4 shots that are all in that ugly slanted form, it's just like, it's just hard to focus. Also, the effects of the movie aren't very good either.
I was about to say, I don't know if it was like CG in this movie is.
Repeat?
I said the CG in this movie isn't very good.
No, it's
Like,
not.
compared
It's
to like
not.
Iron Man 1, that looks really good for what they had.
Yeah, no, this movie's not. It's not pretty at all. And some of the acting here is also really, like, Natalie Portman in this movie is.
The unfortunate thing is that I haven't I know she's not a bad actress. The movies that I have seen most often with her in it, the
Yeah,
Thor movies,
like Star Wars, the prequels,
Star
for instance,
Wars.
she's so bad in those. Well, not she's so bad, she's given bad direction.
and
No, she's
so
not a bad actor at all. The directing this is really odd. Also, how she portrays Jane Foster, I don't like at all. Jane Foster's a legitimately interesting character. And this version of Jane Foster's just not. Like,
There are a lot of this movie has a lot of weird dynamics between characters, and the most successful one, it really tries to play up the relationship between Thor and Lady Sif. I, I genuinely like the entire
fun
movie.
fact: the only reason I remember her name is because at the point where they're fighting the big metal thing, when when Thor introduces the people, he says Lady Sif and the crew or whatever. So I'm like, okay, sure, name
Yeah.
is Sif. I don't remember anyone else's name. I legit don't remember anyone else's name. So
There's
the plot recap's gonna be it's gonna be rough, but bear with me. It's not gonna be long though.
yeah, it's a weird um dynamic between characters, and the only one that I really believe throughout the only two that I really believe throughout the entire movie is the dynamic between Thor and Loki, the dynamic between Thor and Doctor Selvig. I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's just because of Tom Hiddleston and Stellan
Yeah.
Skarsgård.
Also, Tom Hiddleston's just a really good actor. He's so good. Like he's
Per-
probably the best part about this movie. Honestly, just Loki in this movie.
Say.
Like, he's just really good.
I think he's in my opinion, the best character in this movie.
No, 100%. Yeah, he is the best character in this movie.
Yes.
He's the only character who has anything. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Because Thor actually does have an arc, and it's an interesting arc. So Thor and Loki are the only characters who I'd say really changed in this movie at all. Where Thor legitimately, I don't give this movie props. Thor from the beginning movie is drastically different from Thor at the end of the movie, and it's a good arc. It's legitimately good. It's a bit, the pacing's weird, but it's
Yeah.
I feel like so the problem is that that I have with Thor's arc is that what it does in the movie, like plot wise, is that uh so what it does is that so Thor starts out in the movie all like he's angry and irrational, and then is sent down to Earth without any of his powers because he's angry and irrational. And then it takes him virtually amounts to being the rest of the movie until the last act, until like the last portion of the last act that he finally like gets his powers back because he has a change of heart.
Mhm.
The change of heart doesn't feel genuine to me. It feels
I
like
actually I think it does feel genuine because the
it
talk with Eric.
feels like because what happens is that he has the change of heart around the time that he's unable to pick up the hammer.
Well, he
And
has
so
a change of heart after his conversation with Eric Selvig.
to me, it felt less like he changed because while I was watching the movie, it felt less like he changed because of a heart to heart with Eric, and more like he changed because in the back of his mind he was like, I have to change if I want to pick up my big hammer again. And so by the time that the destroyer comes down, I guess ravaged New Mexico. um, by the time the destroyer comes down, Thor changes from this irrational person that wants to treat humans like he's their king.
Mm-hmm.
With like the snap like just like that. Like it's so sudden that it feels unnatural. I know there's a heart to heart in there. There's like a group of scenes where Thor turns into this nice guy.
I
It's like
feel like
in the movie, it's in a span of hours. It doesn't feel genuine.
I just feel like it's okay. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't go as far as say it doesn't feel genuine because he does have the character moments with like Eric Selvig, for instance. The conversation about Jane Foster. That's Jane Foster as a whole. While I don't buy the whole relationship there, like it's weird. So him like figuring out like, hey, these humans like they kind of know what's up. Like I can understand how like him starting to love Jane Foster will influence him to be like, maybe maybe these humans like they need my help. They're dealing with their own things.
So
There's another thing too. I
yeah, I understand.
remember. Also, the realization that it was his fault that his dad died, while his dad isn't dead, but the whole when Loki came, was like, hey, father's dead, and Thor realizing that, oh crap, this is my fault. I was irrational. I think that's enough to change a person. Just so much happening. I feel that being the nail in the coffin. Yeah, I would agree. Pacing weird.
So pacing's weird.
The pace of the movie is all over the place because sometimes it's really, really slow.
Keep cutting out, Lewis.
Well, I said sometimes it's really slow, sometimes it's fast all of a sudden.
The pacing is weird. It's so weird.
And so here's the thing is that now that we've finally gotten to a movie with a redemption arc, you can finally compare movies successfully with narratives. And so horror is a problem, in my opinion, because we've already seen a movie at this point that has an angry, irrational character, a crappy person that basically gets stripped of his identity in order to redeem, and in order to redeem himself, he has to go through hardship, being Iron Man. And so, the big difference, in my opinion, is that Thor's heart-to-heart and his realization that he was irrational because his dad is dead, all that. And the pacing is awkward because we've seen a movie where it took 6 months for somebody to become a better person, and Thor just does it within the span of 12 hours.
I think how wait, there's no way this movie only takes place in the time span of 12 hours.
It was it was a daytime scene, then it went to a nighttime scene when he tried to get Mjolnir. It was the next day, right?
That was the next day. It was 3 days. It was 2 days, 3 days.
What?
Yeah.
Because it's nighttime when they find him, and then he goes to the hospital and it's still nighttime, but then they come back during the day. And
okay, it's 4 days. I just looked up. It's 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah, it's 4 days.
Significantly less than however much time Tony Stark was stuck.
There's I do agree with that.
Months. Something like that.
See, the pacing, it's weird.
Ideology change is it's not a bad thing. It just feels sort of jarring.
I would not ever argue that Thor's arc in this is better than Tony's arc, because no, not at all. Thor's arc, Iron Man's arc in the first Iron Man as a whole is I'd say it's just a really good movie. This movie, it's fine. It's it's not particularly memorable. It's not good at anything. Really. The action scenes are really hard to focus on. That goes with the camera work in this movie being really weird. A lot of the action scenes.
A lot of cuts going on.
Yeah, also the camera's also really close in a lot of action scenes. It's also the final quote unquote fight kind of overwhelming. Yeah, it's.
You say overwhelming or underwhelming?
I mean underwhelming. Overwhelming. I didn't say overwhelming.
Yeah.
Underwhelming. That fight was. I say fight with quotation marks. It feels like.
It wasn't really a fight.
Yeah, that was weird. I'd say the final fight was pretty much the Destroyer, and even that's what it's called, right? The Destroyer.
So I think now that we're talking about fights, it's a good time to address the elephant in being that the entirety of the first act is so boring.
Yeah.
So uninteresting.
Should we go into plot?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to take much to get through.
So, we open up with 3 scientists: Jane Foster, Eric Selvig, and Darcy Lewis. And the only reason I remember that name is because of Kat Dennings, who is she is a very attractive actress. I'll say that. So yeah. Really? So they're in New Mexico in a van. So they're studying They're studying something. I actually don't know what they're studying. Why are they here?
Like
Because
auroral patterns or something.
fancy clouds.
Yeah,
So they're
lights.
If you think about it, the clouds are all like super brightly colored and stuff in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, it's a southern aurora borealis. That's the reason they're over there, because it looks weird every night.
huh. So they hit someone, I think. So something happens and they hit Thor. They come up there and they're like, oh, whoa, who is this man? I don't know if they comment on him being hot here, but whatever. And then there's a voiceover. It's narration, which I'm honestly not a fan of. So I'm not a fan of narration in general, but yeah, whatever. So it describes a battle between the Jotuns and the Jotunheim, yada yada yada, Norse stuff. All right, and then Asgardians win, and they're like, you know what? This casket.
Vaguely North stuff.
What the hell is the power casket? I have a lot of questions about this movie. What was the deal with the power casket?
It's a good question, because we don't really know. They don't explain it. It just looks cool, and it makes things cold, and it's really important.
I can barely call it a MacGuffin. Like it's just
The
there.
problem is that it's not a MacGuffin. It's just a way to explain why Thor is not a friend with the Frost Giants, because there was a war over it.
Yeah,
That's really it.
Yeah, so the Asgardians return to their realm, whatever. And yeah, there's the speaker. Oh, it's Odin, who Anthony Hopkins in this does barely anything. Honestly, I don't like the Odin characters in this movie. Actually, I don't like the Odin character at all. Like, I feel like he
just plays the old wise dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
I feel like the idea was that he's supposed to play a sort of like mentor character in the hero's journey arc that is found in most stories, most Western stories and stuff. Where typically in the hero's journey, the mentor dies, is an old wise guy. His job is to die and inspire the main character to become a better person. Which is kind of what happens, except he doesn't actually die.
Yeah, he sleeps. He takes a nap. He's angry, and then he casts
Loki pretends
off.
he dies.
Yeah, and then he takes a nap, and then he comes back and saves.
Back.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he shed one tear. 1 year while he was taking the nap.
This movie, man. Okay, yeah. So he's talking to his sons, Thor and Loki, which really good choice on child actors. Like, I buy them as these characters. But whatever, they only appear for 2 seconds as a batter. So Odin says both of them are worthy, but only one can be king. What does that mean? We don't know.
It means that diarchies don't exist in this world.
Yeah,
Has to be a moment.
Years later, Asgard's having a ceremony. Thor is being formally recognized as a prince of Asgard, and Loki's being cucked. Which, honestly, good on Loki in this movie. I don't blame him for doing what he does in this movie. Like, Thor does get caught in this beginning part. Like, Loki gets the shaft. So he's looking at Embassy, and Odin's, making the proclamation, so on and so forth. Alarms go off, and intruders come in, and, the Frost Giants are like, ooh, and so a large destroyer robot kills the intruders, and yeah, something with the casket. I don't remember. They examine the remains. Odin seems unfazed, which is weird, and Thor's. I thought they're. I don't know, man. This movie. Ugh.
There's not much. It's really, we don't even have to go scene by scene for this plot, because it's so streamlined that most of the scenes in this movie don't necessarily matter.
Honestly, I agree. Because, like,
really, what happens is that Thor is about to be crowned king, but then there are frost giants invading Asgard, which are quickly, taken out. Thor gets angry. He's like, they should pay for what they've done. And so he goes directly against the order of Odin and goes with his friends to Jotunheim, the Frost Giant, which he gets in a lot of trouble for and is banished from Asgard down to Earth. And so the rest of the movie is about Loki taking advantage of Odin hibernating? What is he doing?
I don't even know.
Said it.
What
It was
is he
called the.
doing?
Oh, he said it was called the Odin sleep. Like that's.
I looked it up after the movie, and I couldn't
Like,
find.
why can only Odin sleep? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. Like,
I couldn't find anything at all. So I feel like it was made up
no,
for this
100%.
movie.
It was made up. Yeah. It's
It's
not.
really, I don't even know. It's strange because all that it serves for is a way to take take Anthony Hopkins out of the picture so that Loki can take over. And that's not a
This
bad
thing,
thing. It's just really convoluted.
like, it is a thing in the comics, but like it's asleep for like Odin to replenish his Odin force, which is a real thing. All right, so like, so Odin is a way bigger deal in the comics than he is here. So like whatever like, so like whenever he's getting weak or so, for instance, like, he needs to go into this sleep to like regain his power.
Okay.
But the way they adapted it here makes it seem like it's a nap.
I honestly thought he was having a heart attack.
It's like the opening to Superman where spoilers for a 50-year-old movie. Clark Kent's dad dies from
So,
a heart
like,
attack.
Yeah, so it's like a once again the comics is a once a year thing, like, and then there's a point where Thor not Thor Odin's second Odin sleep. So like, he pretty much gets written out of the story, where it's like, oh, he can't get out until he's there until he dies or Thor succeeds him, that sort of thing. So it's a thing in the comics. It's kind of important, but the way they adapted it here, really weird. So we get on Earth, and we're back from where we were at the beginning, and they're like, oh no, we hit him, and Jane's like, oh please don't be dead, and then he gets up really aggressively, and Cat tases him. Like, yeah, you go. Yeah.
That was a soundbite from the movie. That wasn't Ethan making.
It's important to note that the rest of the movie is us or going to the crater where he finds Mjolnir being protected by S.H.I.E.L.D. And then Loki tells him that Odin is dead in order to trick him into thinking that he's basically exiled forever. And then Loki...
Recap the plot. I don't want to recap the plot. Recap the plot here. I remember too little of this movie to accurately do this. So like, you take it from here.
So they go back to Earth, and then Thor is tased, and so he has to go to the hospital because they hit him with their car, and they just think he's a normal guy. But then after they take him home from the hospital, they slowly begin to realize that he's just kind of crazy. He's talking about Norse mythology as if he was Thor. And so the rest of the movie is just him thinking he's crazy, figuring out slowly that he's actually the Norse god of thunder and strength. And relationships are not built very successfully between the humans and Thor. Thor is tricked into thinking that Odin is dead. Loki takes over Asgard, kind of. He attacks Thor on Earth and with the Destroyer, and so after Thor is a Deus Ex Machina worthy, he goes back to Asgard and beats Loki up. and Loki supposedly falls to his death. Not a lot happens in this movie.
Yeah, there we go. That's the plot, everyone. Next week will be I will be more interesting because it's Captain America. But yeah, that's plot summary. It's over. Thank you, Ben. I don't remember a lot of this movie. I just watched it.
That was-
2 days ago.
That was a good summary. It's like I watched the movie all over.
Yeah. Honestly, like
The romance,
Lewis,
the romance
plot summaries are
storyline-
usually more in depth, but like just for now.
Yeah.
It doesn't
the
matter.
romance storyline between Jane Foster and Thor.
That's so fast, right? That was okay. Well, cool. We're a thing
What
now.
reason
No,
is
that's the
there
thing,
for
is
her
that
to
it's
believe him?
so much more believable. It's so much less believable even than Eddie and Bruce from The Incredible Hulk. And that, I thought, was the least believable relationship.
It's just
I
like,
was wrong.
what? It's just, especially the turnaround from her, like, just believing him and stuff like that. It's like, this dude's freaking crazy. He, like, you hit him with this car and he's, like, talking about all, like, Mjolnir and, like, how he's the god of thunder or whatever. Like, what? This dude's all this bonkers. Like, okay, he's slightly attractive. He's way more attractive in the other movies, but, like,
Because in the other movies you can see his eyebrows.
yeah. And his design of Ragnarok, really good. But yeah, what is Ragnarok again? I don't remember what Ragnarok. I don't know why I said that. Like, we're living in 2011.
Oh, right, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
We have
what
a
are-
fortune teller here.
There's gonna be more Thor movies? What?
Yeah. So yeah, he's just like, it's weird. Like, I don't understand her motivations. I just feel like they're not really there. Like, this dude's obviously insane. Like literally in the diner, like he takes the cup and he's like throws it down. He's like, another please. It's like, bro, if I was it was someone like this, I would leave. You know? Well, okay. Most people would leave.
Would you tip the waitress?
Okay. So yeah, it's
It's a jarring movie.
It is. It's jarring. Yeah, that's plot. Should we move into chill with the villains right now? Do we
Sure.
have- Okay.
Yes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chillin' with the Villains. Revamped, guys. I'm actually, you know what? Not guys, because Chillin' with the Villains. I'm your host of Chillin' with the Villains, the podcast. All right. And here your host, obviously. Okay, yeah, your host. And today I'm joined by my co-host, Lewis, the Hispanic Heartthrob,
What's popping?
and that is it. And I have some guests in the audience here. Say hi, guests.
What?
I'm not saying hi. I refuse to say it, as I'm
Okay.
not an audience member.
Okay, so yeah, Lewis. Who the villains of this movie? Like, I'd say Loki featuring the Frost Giants. How about that? Is that are we? Can we say those are the villains here?
Loki and the Frost
features
Giants?
who?
God, you know what? I'm thinking Ethan is the true villain right now. God damn. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that the Frost Giants don't count because they're a minor antagonistic force that just gets like pummeled by everybody.
They're
You
a
know
plot
what?
device.
Okay, so
They are a plot.
current ranking for with
It's
Chill with
just
the Villains from bottom to top is Abomination and Kinda Ross from The Incredible Hulk. Number 2, Obadiah Stane, who is the Ironmonger from Iron Man. And number 1, Hammer and his BDSM friend from Iron Man 2. So where are we gonna rank Loki featuring the Frost Giants?
Number 1.
No.
Did you just say number 1?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
No, not number
no,
one. What
no,
the hell's wrong with you?
no, okay, not at all. No, nowhere. Okay, no.
I would say
Loki.
I would say
Loki,
number 2.
Loki is appealing in this movie, but the we cannot just ignore the Frost Giants because they are segmented here and they're just so inconsequential. We're like, I think you guys are
So
thinking of like
here's
Avengers Loki.
I'm
We're
not.
talking
And here's the thing:
specifically about
is
Thor in
that
this
so
movie.
if we are comparing, the number one right now, Loki.
No,
Loki is
number one is Hammer and his BDSM friend.
I know. If we're comparing current number one, which is Justin Hammer and Whiplash, let's think about this. As an antagonist, Justin Hammer and Whiplash serve not as actual necessarily like emotional antagonists. Uh, they serve as stopping blocks for Iron Man. All they exist for is to stop Iron Man as much as they can because they don't like him.
Yeah, but at least their motivations like make way more like they
Loki's
have more, like,
motivation
they
in this
have
movie that he has been crafted at every possible turn of events for his entire life because his brother is the actual son of Odin. He was lied to his entire life about who he actually is. He was never going to be told.
I don't think we get enough Loki in this movie to feel like I can put him number one because in like at least with Hammer and
Also,
Whiplash we get a lot of explanation, especially with Whiplash, of like who he is, like why exactly he's doing everything. Like with Loki we get like, oh, he is not the legitimate son of Loki. I mean of Odin. Okay, like we don't really get to see who Loki is as the god of mischief in this movie.
I agree with Ethan.
I think it's also important to note that Justin Hammer, it was kind of
Also,
there.
I
It was
just
it
showed it.
was
I mean,
vaguely there with Obadiah Stane, and it was kind of a little more there with Whiplash. Loki also serves as emotional, as a manipulator in this film. He
but
emotionally manipulates every.
he emotionally manipulated maybe like Thor. Like that's really all we get with him
Okay.
saying like, "Oh, yo, Dad's dead." Like we don't get a lot of Loki love here, which is why I can't put him number one. Like Loki in the future, like, we're not gonna talk about this, but Loki here, I'd say number two. Take it or leave it.
Lewis, what do you think?
I think. Where'd you say you put him, Ethan?
Number two, below Hammer and his BDSM friend, and above Obadiah Stane, who is the Ironmonger.
Yeah, I don't think Whiplash or
Also, the Whiplash
Hammer.
fight scenes are just way. That final fight scene is way better than any of Loki's fight. We don't really get a Loki fight scene in this movie. We don't.
I don't think we really ever get a Loki fight scene.
So yeah, I can't put him number one. That fight scene with War Machine and Iron Man was just so cool.
You know,
Actually, I just realized. So, are we ranking for recurring, like in the future for recurring villains? Are we just taking
We're gonna rank
villains
the
that
villains
have
separately.
already?
We're gonna rank the villains.
We're gonna
separately.
rank them
Yeah.
separately.
So
Okay.
once Avengers come along, it's gonna be Loki, Avengers, and we're also gonna have we're gonna rank them separately.
Okay.
So yeah, number
I'm
two.
gonna go with Ethan on this and say to keep it a happy medium. Since
Number two it is.
Okay, so our current rankings. Number 4, Abomination and Kinda Ross. Number 3, Obadiah Stane, who is the Ironmonger. Number 2, Thor featuring the Frost Giants. Number 1,
Loki
Hammer and
featuring
his...
the
Loki, not Thor. That's was Thor with real
What?
villain the whole.
Thor was the real villain
Loki,
to
yeah,
all of it.
Loki featuring the Frost Giants. And number 1, Hammer and his BDSM friend.
Loki's or Thor's main conquest is to bleach everyone's eyebrows.
Jeez. Okay, so now let's go on to ranking. Our current ranking for our current MCU ranking from bottom to top. Number 3, The Incredible Hulk. Number 2, Iron Man 2. Number 1, Iron Man. I have a pretty good idea of where I want to put this. right above Incredible Hulk, right below Iron Man 2.
Yes. I agree.
I think that is the proper place to put it.
What do you think, Lewis? Even though you're outvoted either way.
Majority then, because I guess I don't have a scare.
Well, no. I'm just
Hey,
saying, where do you think this
what
goes?
is your opinion? Like, where do you think it goes?
Definitely above Hulk.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's better than Iron Man 2?
No.
Would you say it's better than Iron Man?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're with us then. You're with us.
Yeah, that's exactly the spot.
Yeah, okay, we didn't have to vote. All right, our new number 3, everyone. Thor. That was really easy. Yeah, that seems about right. Do we? Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, like, the Incredible Hulk, I'd say it's just a bad movie. Thor is just fine. But it does not hold a candle to anything Iron Man 2 or Iron Man did. Like, at all.
I think I can actually, like, I think I can imagine, I think I can see Jared Leto's eyebrows better in Suicide Squad than I can in Thor.
Whoa, wow, that's bold. That's really bold. But yeah, this movie, honestly, like, it doesn't do anything particularly well. But it doesn't do anything so egregiously bad that, like, I'd say it's worse than Hulk. Like, the Incredible Hulk, like, it's just bad. Like, I didn't like that movie at all. Like, it was a drag all the way. Like, with Thor, like, there are some moments where I'm like, I'm kind of interested in what's happening here. I.e., Loki. I just like Tom Hiddleston. You know, I like Kat Dennings, so there's that. But, you know, her character in this barely has a role in this. And I don't even remember if she's in Dark World or not. Actually,
She has about the same amount of presence in the movie that doesn't
I don't think
exist.
I've ever seen Dark World.
But you are in for a treat.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Like, honestly, I was about to say I don't remember why I didn't see that, but I remember why I didn't see it. It's because of this movie. This movie didn't grab me enough to be like, okay, yeah, I want to see a sequel to this movie. Like, no. So yeah, Thor, it's fine. Like, it's just a shame. Like, the world of Asgard just is so interesting, and here we just don't see that. We don't. And honestly, like, legitimately, I don't remember any of of Thor's buddies' names other than Sif. Like,
I didn't even know that one.
they're inconsequential as well. Like, I know one of them played Prince Charming in Once Upon a Time. Like,
I didn't even know that.
yeah, it's the
I know the Robin Hood one. The blonde white guy. He gets recasted.
you know that the blonde dude with
because he
the
didn't want to
mustache.
be in
He's
the
the one.
second one.
I don't blame him. That's the one I'm talking about. He was the one who played Prince Charming. Then you have the big bulky dude who reminds me of Sloth from Full Metal Alchemist, and you have Sif. So yeah, it's fine. It's like, as far as overall importance to the MCU, I don't think it's very important. Well, okay, it establishes Thor. At the same time, the events of Asgard that happens here aren't really important. Like, they're just not. Like,
It isn't.
yeah.
All it
Like,
serves to do, in my opinion, is establish who Loki is.
yeah, which, good on them, because Loki is an interesting character. He is a legitimately interesting character. I do like Loki a lot.
Too.
So, do we have anything else to add about this movie? This is a relatively short one, but, like, with Thor, you can't really do much with it.
I have nothing to say. It's bad. It's a bad movie.
Okay, I don't agree with that. It's a fine movie.
I will say one thing.
I think
It
it's
is
bad.
a movie that you can watch on your TV.
Yeah,
What?
but
And watch.
should you? That's the question.
That is all I
best-
have to say.
Yeah, it is legitimate. Like it is a movie. You're right. It is a movie.
Yeah,
Like-
it's definitely a movie. It's a movie.
Like that's way more than I can give to Incredible Hulk. Like what was that? What was Incredible Hulk?
Bad.
Yeah, no, that movie was bad. So
It's like special feature.
yeah, I hats off for me. Next week, Captain America: The First Avenger, a movie I'm actually kind of excited for
Love that movie.
because I remember that movie being pretty good.
My
Pretty good.
favorite.
I remember not liking as much as the Iron Man movies, but like I've never really been a Cap guy in general. So yeah, that being said, I have never seen Winter Soldier, and I've heard Winter Soldier does a lot for people's opinions on Cap. So once we get to that, I'm excited for. I'm excited for that. I think so far, the only movies I haven't seen are Winter Soldier and Thor: Dark World. I think.
A good sequel and another movie.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been it from HMR. Thank you guys for watching. Where can we find you, Tyler?
You can find me at Instagram Stylish Nate, or you can find me in the depths of hell. I'll be waiting. It's nice and warm.
Where can we find you, Lewis?
On YouTube, Colonel Cork. That's basically it from me. Or
Where-
my house. We can chill here if you'd like.
Where can we find you, Ben?
Some people know where to find me. I'm on the planet Earth, and I am far away from Asgard.
You know what?
Never-
If someone listens to this
never
and
wanna
like,
be
hey,
anywhere near here."
that Ben guy has some good opinions. Where can I find more opinions? And they find out that he's a ghost.
I am a ghost. You know, I'll have something eventually, probably
Yeah.
soon.
And for
Hopefully,
me,
hopefully an OnlyFans.
yo,
Oh, no.
I could do that. Do you want me to do an OnlyFans?
I want one of Ben.
Okay,
I-
I noticed.
Anyway,
so yeah, I would probably pay for that too. So yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, for me, you can find me literally anywhere. Like you just you search the Detective Prince 46 on something, you're bound to find me. Like I make music. I have stuff going on Bandcamp. YouTube channel. You're probably listening to this on YouTube channel, but you can find the podcast on, like Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean. I'm working on iTunes or the Apple. I'm looking into that, and obviously YouTube, where we get most of our viewers. So yeah, that's that's it from us.
Everybody.
Next week, like we said, Captain America: The First Avenger. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Glad to have everyone back here. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a marvelous day.